This is the Ferris wheel press inks and pens that I got for Christmas. And I got 2 different kinds of pens, and I got 2 different size bottles of ink. I also got additional refillable cartridges, and so I just wanted to go over the differences that I noticed, and how even though there are large price differences between the Bijou, which is this one here, and the Carousel, they're both excellent products, and you kind of almost need both, and I'll explain why. So as I was saying, there are 2 different types of ink that I got, or 2 different sizes, and they're both so pretty. Look at that. They need to be shaken up a bit, but because they got the glitter in there, but they're both gorgeous inks. Let's see, so I have the boxes here, and even the packaging is gorgeous. Look at that. So this smaller bottle, this one here, is Furry Frostbites, and let me see where it says the quantity, and of course they come out of Canada, Toronto. Here we go. 20 milliliters of ink. So this is a 20 milliliter bottle, which is quite a bit of ink. To give a reference, let me see here. This is a P.H. Martin's iridescent copper plate gold. This needs to be shaken up too. So if you can see the difference between the size of the bottles and whatnot, it's about probably a bit less than what comes in here. I don't know if this is, so this is 29.57 milliliters, 1 fluid ounce, but you know, it's still a very gorgeous ink. But just to give you a size comparison to something you may have already, that's that one. And then the other size that I got was this one. Look at all that glitter. You do have to shake them up before you draw from them, of course. See, now it's shaken up. It doesn't take much to do so. And so this is 38 milliliters. This is the Bathurst Blue Denim. I believe this is the one that I actually put in my pen already. And again, the packaging even is just gorgeous. I can't even hardly bear to throw it away. It's so pretty. Fall in love with writing again. Yes, definitely. So there's that. And again, just to do a size comparison, it's quite a bit more. Poor gold color needs mixing so bad. So, and even the design in gold with the Ferris wheel and whatnot, it's just so precious. It's definitely a bottle like these I wouldn't necessarily want to like leave out on my desk. But these are gorgeous. Now, I mentioned that I had gotten some cartridges, 2 ink converters is what they call them. Standard international sized ink converters, 2.6 millimeter tip, 0.75 milliliter capacity. So this is what you get in this package. Fill your pen with joy. And so these have a spring mechanism in here, and you know, then of course the way that they operate is you turn this black plastic end. Let me see here. Which way to go? Here we go. And then you draw up the ink that way. And so this is what requires you actually have to put this in the pen, and then you dip the tip of the pen into the ink in order to draw up the ink. Like if you just drew up the ink with this, which I don't know that it would work, it might, but the ink could just easily drip right out. Oh, it's just got it stamped on here, Ferris wheel press on there. So even this is, you know, very nice. They could have just left that plain, but they actually stamped on it. You can see there, Ferris wheel press. It's really nice. Feels very solid. So there's 2 of those that I got. And the purpose of these is mainly if you want to quickly change out the colors of ink in your pen. That's what you would get extras, you know, spares of these for. And since I was getting 2 different colors of ink, that's why I ended up going ahead and getting this. Now to the pens. So as I mentioned, I got 2 different kinds of pens. I got the Bijou, I believe is how it's pronounced. This one's got like a nice holographic embossing on there. You can see it there. That's really pretty. I got the blue Revelry. Happy 15th. So this was a limited edition happy 15th birthday. Okay, and then I got the Carousel pen, and that's got the gold embroidery, even down here on the feathered flight plume. So this one was quite a bit cheaper than the other. It comes with a refillable converter. This one, I have to look and see if this one has a spring in it or not. And you can customize the tip, I believe. And so the reason I went with this one, you can see it in there. It's got a little cutout there. Let's see what it says. So it says, capturing your most magical memory of the Midway. The Carousel comes equipped with a converter that is ready to be filled with your favorite fountain pen ink. Bring your brightest ideas to life with the spirit of the carnival. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open this one up first so I can show you. And it's got this nice little cutout so you can kind of get your finger in there and pull it out. Now I've used this one quite a bit. I've stuck it in my purse, but again, I can't bear to throw the box away because it's just so pretty. And even the packaging where the pen comes in is pretty nice. It's got this little bit to hold it in and so you can dump it out. So if this has ink on it already, that's my own fault because I'm still getting used to filling them this way. I'm used to cartridges that they're all pre-filled and you just put them in there. And so filling them by drawing up the ink with the pen tip is not something I'm used to, but I'm willing to give it a try. And so again, this has some nice silver embossing on it. Carousel. There we go. And so, let me see here. That's the tip. Like I said, if it looks a little dirty with some ink around the edges, that's my own fault because I'm still getting used to it. But this is plastic, of course. I don't know if you can see down in there. That's the lid and then the body. It's got this groove, and it does hold the lid very securely. Like it's not gonna fly off, so that's good. And then the converter is right in here. Now you can definitely see my messy filling process. So that's the converter. Now this one is not stamped. This is the one that came with it, but this one does not have the Ferris wheel press stamping on that cartridge. But you can see I kind of made a mess out of this. Now, I have just plain black ink in this one because I just wanted it for everyday regular use. You know, like I said, I keep it in my purse, and so if I want to draw out a pen, I carry a travel journal with me too. I don't mind pulling this one out and using it just every day because it's so light being plastic. There's absolutely no fatigue. Oh, and this lid snaps on. It doesn't screw on. But you can easily write with this and not have any fatigue from writing for long periods of time. And let's see, I have one of my journals here. So this is just a Leuchtturm 1910 or 1917, just to show what it looks like. My handwriting is nothing to write home about at all, but see if you can see. And again, if it's messy, that's on me. But it looks like it's got a V and a VI, so I guess this is a 6. But this is a fine nib. This fine tip is actually quite nice as far as the thickness and whatnot. Okay, so now to the Bijou, and again, I hope I'm not pronouncing that right, or I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong, excuse me. So there's that. Now this comes with the maple leaf, right history. There's that. And then on the back, Bijou fountain pen anointed with unmatched finesse, where elegance entwines with the enchantment of crown jewels. And then the care instructions, it says, prior to refilling, remove converter and unscrew nib from the grip. Rinse with cold water until water runs clear. Allow to dry. Store pen vertically when not in use to avoid clogging. Detailed care instructions on ferriswheelpress.com. And so what I've been doing is I put it back in the box, and then I stand the box up like this when I'm not using it. And this box stands pretty well on its own. And again, because it's just so pretty, it's something I don't really mind having out. I think it's very nice. Now, eventually I might get some sort of a pen holder that, you know, I can set it in there with, but for now, this is what I do. And so, like I said, this one is the limited edition blue Revelry. And it was hard to tell a little bit from the pictures on the site. Their marketing is amazing, by the way. They do such a nice job of, you know, portraying everything. But until you see it in person, it's really hard to really gauge. And so I had to look at the size of the barrel and whatnot, because I didn't want something that was going to make my hand cramp and not be too heavy. And this definitely does the trick. And I like the nut, I guess, kind of shape on this, where, I mean, it's not going to roll on this felt type fabric anyway, but on a flat desk, it's not going to roll anywhere, which is nice. And I also like how it actually matches the caps for the inks as well. So it really does look like a nice set there. Now, to unscrew it, this is where it really shines. I mean, it shines on the outside anyway, but to give you an idea, the sun's coming out now. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but as I turn it, you can kind of see the glittery flakes in the paint, and the blue is just, it's gorgeous. I love the blue color of this. And then the gold glittery sparkle in the paint is quite nice. And then this, the tip is just gorgeous. The embossing engraving rather, in all of it is so nice. And then it came with a dual tone tip for it, where it's gold right here on the tip, and then the rest is silver. It's just so gorgeous. And then all the details around the edges. It's just so pretty. And very easy to handle too. The weight feels balanced. Okay, so you can see it's kind of balanced right in here. And so the weight is low. And so when I hold it in this way, I feel the weight coming down rather than being up at the top and feeling heavy in that direction. And so it kind of has, it feels like the weight is going where it needs to, which is towards the page. And so it makes it a really comfortable writing tool. So let me go ahead and move all this stuff, and I'll show you how it writes. Okay, so in this one, I believe the ink that I put in here was this one, which is the Bathurst Blue Denim. And so this one is a fine nib. Let's see where it shows a size. It says F. Yeah, so it's a fine tip. So maybe the other one's a medium, but I thought it was a fine. It's you can see it writes super nice and smooth though, unlike my hand. Let's see here. I can kind of get it to build up a bit. So it's hard to see. There you go. So it's wet right now, but you can still see the glitter. So even with it being a fine tip, you can still see the glitter that comes out onto the page. And see, even in these lines, you can see the glitter. So even though this is definitely a fine tip, you can see it's there. It's so pretty. I haven't tried the other ink, but I imagine it works just as beautifully. That's really nice, but you can see this concentrated bit here. That's gorgeous. And again, the actual writing. So the glitter that they put in here is just so fine. It really packs it into. And I'm not pressing especially hard when I'm writing, but look at all that. Beautiful. Just gorgeous. So yeah, this was the one I'd waited for, and my husband asked me, well, what do you want for Christmas? I said, would you like to spend a bit of money on a fountain pen? So compared to other pens, yes, it is a bit pricier. But to me, the cost is worth it. It's definitely such a gorgeous pen. And if you're somebody who appreciates a really nice pen, this is definitely one that I know I'm going to enjoy for quite some time. I'll show you some other pens that I have, because I am somebody who enjoys a unique pen. But this is definitely probably my favorite right now. So these are other pens that I've gotten, and I compare the quality of these Ferris wheel press ones to pens I already have, of course. The other fountain pen that I have, this was custom made. The gentleman's name, I think it's either Bob or Bill, but his Etsy page is Pen Craftsmanship. I'll have to put a link on there. But he engraved it with my name, and he colored the wood the way that I wanted, stained it rather. That would be the appropriate way to say it. So this is the first fountain pen that I really had, aside from the dipping kind that you might use for drawing or really old school writing. Now this one's a lot older and needs to be cleaned up quite a bit. But this is just a kit that, you know, he puts together. The nib is dirty, but it's still a pretty nib. Let's see. So a rhodium point from Germany, looks like. And it's dirty. I do need to clean it, but I just don't have a towel right handy. And this one, he had sent me refillable cartridges to use with it. I haven't. I've just been putting pre-filled cartridges that I just push on. Like I said, and when I was talking about these other pens, I don't know that these will work with them for that. It might, and maybe they mentioned something about it, but I haven't come across it. So in this case, at least, I just use this pre-filled cartridge in it. But I guess with the converter that he sent, I could probably use that in this as well, I imagine, since they seem to be universal. And so that's that one. Oh, the other thing that's special about this one and this one here, which this one I carry in my purse as well. This is a ballpoint pen that he made me, and I carry it I don't know where I got this tube, but it seemed to work perfect. It might have been what he sent me the pen in, I'm not sure, but it protects it. And this one's real special too, because he actually took a gold dust and rubbed it into the wood grain. You can see it there. And then polished it. And the wood that this pen and this pen are made from, I'm a big Stephen King fan, and so if you've ever read the book or seen the movie Shawshank Redemption, towards the end of the movie, there's a tree in a pasture where Red is supposed to go and retrieve a box that Andy Dufresne left for him. And Andy Dufresne gives a description of this large tree, one that stands out from all the others in the area, I believe is how he says it. And so that tree became known as the Shawshank tree. And several years ago, which it had been damaged before, but several years ago it was damaged a second time, and they were not able to save it. And so one of the things that they did was they cut wood blanks that artisans could use to make different things. And there were even cards of authenticity that came with these pens for these, wood blanks that these were made from. And so it just is a neat little fan kind of thing. Like I said, I'm a Stephen King fan, and it just seemed fitting to have a writing instrument that is connected to a really fantastic story and writer. In any case, so the features of this pen, this was kind of custom too that he did. I didn't have Apple pencils weren't really a thing, I don't think, just yet. And so when I used to do patterns and drawing and whatnot on my iPad, it was really difficult to use one of those rubber nib pens that you get at Walmart or whatever. And so he put this disc head on it for me, in which it's flexible, and I think there's even replacements, like if this should break or anything, there's replacement discs that you can get, and he may have sent some to me too at the time. And so this screws onto the end to protect this, and it also magnets to this end, and you can see it's not coming off, so that way I don't lose this protective tip for this end. It just screws on there. And so then the way that this one works is you twist it, and then you got the ballpoint tip. And this is a heavier pen. This is actually heavier. Yeah, this is definitely a lot heavier than this Bijou from Ferris Wheel Press. So I like this one, but it can fatigue my hands some if I use it a whole bunch. But for, quick note-taking and things like that, and not to mention just the enjoyment of a really well-made, nice pen, this is definitely nice. And again, you can just... I don't know if other craftsmen use that technique, rubbing the gold dust into the wood grain. You can kind of see it on camera, but it's more noticeable in person, and it just gives it an extra sheen on top of the polish, the wood polish that he did. Very well made. And the other pen I had him make several for me this one particular year, and this has been quite some time ago, is this one, because I really like, I can't think of what they call when they color the metal, this rainbow color, but I really like it a lot. And so he, this is the epoxy mix, and it's got like a glitter mixed in there. Resin, that's it. Epoxy resin. And so that was really nice. And then this one, it's kind of triangular here. You can kind of see it as I turn it. So it, you know, helps you hold it and position it. So even though that this is a bulkier pen, this portion right here is quite a bit more comfortable to write with. And again, this is, you just twist to get the ballpoint. And again, this is heavier than any of the others. So it can be fatiguing if you use it for a long period of time, but just to use for, you know, short journal entries and things like that. Look at that. I told him I wanted it to look like a galaxy. But for short writing and whatnot, this is definitely a nice one to pull out too, and it's just so pretty to look at. So yeah, there's this one. And now I have this pretty one to go with it too. So gorgeous, all of them. There were other pens I had him make as well, that were special, made for my parents who were in the semiconductor business. And so I wanted something that kind of connected back to when I would go to work with them when I was a kid, and I'd look at microchips under the microscopes. And so he did a fantastic job. I'll put up a picture that I have on my phone from them. And I think he's still in business, but if you're looking, you know, for custom made stuff, he's the one to go with. But if you want to make a purchase that, you know, is also just so incredibly fantastic and gorgeous, I highly recommend the Ferris wheel press. And I'm not sponsored, I'm not paid in any way, shape, or form. My husband got these for me, like I said, as a Christmas gift, and I'm not sponsored by this gentleman either. It's just an appreciation for somebody who puts a lot of effort into a craft, and I can appreciate that because I do my own things as well. So great work and great products, great pens, and I hope you enjoyed the video.